Good morning, class. Today, we're going to discuss the philosophical question, why is there something rather than nothing? And something that deep, some call it the greatest question, philosophical question ever, requires this model. So this model is the fundamental model of reality. And it really is the theory of everything, because it's the theory of things and non-things. It tackles even the root word thing itself. So the reason why, so physics is trying to, and science is trying to come up with the fundamental model of reality. But they're trying to do it by basically just cutting this column, the physical world, cutting it up into a whole, basically just keep cutting this into half. See, this is already measured. So science is measurement, and measurement requires two. So I don't understand how a bifurcating system, because that's what science is it? It's a bifurcating system. It requires measurement, so in that measurement, it creates the duality. So how can you find unity in a single theory by bifurcating? These are questions that I bring up to physicists and philosophers. With today's technology, you can tweet them, right? Like, you can even leave some of these guys and girls a message. And when I ask them these simple questions, there's no response. Like this simple question, well, how can a bifurcating system find unity when it requires bifurcation? It requires two for it to operate. So that's why it doesn't work. That's why science will never find it, and why science itself actually creates the illusion. So this proves it, not so something that's absolutely something that you know is true, and you know it to your bones. You only know it until you've had the experience of it. You can't just intellectually understand something and say that it's truth, because it's not a comprehensive truth, is it? Because you don't have the experience of it, you just think you know it. So this is your life. This is reality. This is the fundamental description of all these different aspects of reality in its most fundamental form. Because if you are going to investigate something, let's say that there's a message and you have to interpret the message, well, you need to use thought to figure out what the information is saying. You need thought to interpret thought. But if that interpretation is incorrect, then it will just keep going on forever and ever and ever. And that's what science is doing, is because they're bifurcating, they don't understand. So this is the system of measurement, right? Like, this is a model of measurement itself. This is why it is the most fundamental model of reality. because it is measurement itself. So what this is proving is that there is no such thing as nothing. Nothing is a thought, a concept that is false. It can only relate to the thought realm. The not exists only in the thought realm. There is no not in the world. Everywhere there, it's a being. There's a beingness that's only beingness. There's no not being. You can't see a not being. So, the answer to the question, why is there something rather than nothing, is the question is in error. There's only life. But when you think that when this comes into the picture, then you can have not, right? This is the other. Now, it doesn't have to be not, it can be the other. So this is the end of fear of death. Like, if this was taught in school, there would be no more fear of death. You cannot not exist. There's no such thing as nothing. And the fundamental reality, the absolute from which these arise, is you, is your existence. That which is experiencing these is this. So there's no such thing as nothing. That's the answer, is that the thought of nothing is in error. And all of thought is in error when we actually relate it to the physical realm. The connection of thought to the physical realm is actually arbitrary, and there's nothing fundamental about it. We just are programmed, we have convinced ourselves that the thought realm relates to the physical realm, but it certainly is not part of its qualia, is it? There's nothing about any objects in this room that express chair. There are objects in this room that express the feeling of leather or coldness or a color or a texture or a weight, right? These are all qualia of the physical realm. And the thought realm is a superimposition over top of all of that. It doesn't even fit. So, even though I've just answered the greatest philosophical question of all time, do you think there'll be anyone recognizing it? Do you think this will get 1 million views and some philosopher, some known philosopher that's come through academia, of course, says, oh my gosh, yeah, like, that's it. The whole question is in error. Because no one seems to be understand that thought itself is in error. The reason for thought is that all of this is coming to an end. This is all concluding. See, these are cycles. And it's this that's cycling. This never goes away, but it has cycles. So we're coming to the end of a really, really, really big cycle. And it's flipping to this now. So the entire physical realm is flipping to thought realm, a non-physical experience where there's just thoughts and some sort of emotions, no physical sensations, and symbol is the conduit through which that is taking place. Symbol exists in a superposition of being in the physical realm and the thought realm simultaneously. So the more that we are attracted to symbol, the more our consciousness is being pulled into the thought realm. And this is why, so again, the speed at which this is occurring, because we're getting near this singularity, the speed at which this is occurring is off the charts. Let's take reincarnation, and the simplest version of that, model of that, is that this just alternates. This is alternating, okay? So when you, let's say that when you die and you're a woman, then it just alternates. You die in this realm, you're a little bit on the yin side, and then the next life, you're a man. And then the next life after that, you're a woman. Let's just take that model. Well, what's happening is that everything's so sped up right now, and nearing the end, is that females are becoming males and males are becoming females within the human species within one lifetime. Like, this is unprecedented, and this is the reason why this is happening. Do you see how deep it goes? It's even beyond subconsciousness. It's super consciousness. But there's no such thing as nothing. And this is the model that I've adapted to get rid of the nothing, because it's incorrect. So nothing is now called potential. And the thing part, which all of reality is based, right? All of Western society, the model is based on the thing. Nothing, something, anything, everything. But the nothing has been changed to non-thing. So it's the other. It's not the opposite of it. It's the other part of it, right? So it's not just strictly either it's this or it's not this. it's this and the other part of this. It's, I should say, that and the other part of that makes this. So this is the fundamental model of reality. And when people look at this and they don't get how profound it is, I don't understand how people don't understand this. I really don't. Like, yes, it doesn't, it's, even 1 + 1 = 2 is I was going to use that as an example, right? It's that obvious, but 1 + 1 = 2 is just a programming in our heads because it took 360 pages to prove that. Literally took 360 pages to prove that 1 + 1 = 2 of esoteric symbolism that maybe a dozen people on the planet has ever known what the fuck it means. So we accept things that don't really make sense, like 1 + 1 = 2. But we've just been programmed via thought and via symbols to take it to be such. So the big thing that really, the only thing that really matters that's happening right now is that consciousness is moving from the physical realm to the thought realm, and the digital realm may be a transitionary period in between the two that may last only a couple billion years or whatever, or I don't know how long it's going to last, but human consciousness is going to go into that thing because that's where all of our attention is being drawn. All of our attention is being drawn into the screen. So at the extinction event, that will flip. And I know I just go over it again and again and again, but it's the most important thing. And me and this other guy, Shunya Murti, we seem to be the only people talking about it. So I don't understand how people don't get this. I mean, yeah, it takes a little bit of a leap, a little bit of intuitive leap to grasp the enormity and the importance of this. But this is the fundamental. You can't, it's literally impossible to get more fundamental than this because this is an expression of measurement itself. This is the two arising from the one, and the two are just the illusion and again, this is why all of this woke stuff, because it's people believe that they are their thoughts. So the identity itself is becoming more thought-based than physical-based. Why do words, why do symbols hurt people? Because we're taking the words to be true and substantial. So this is really important. The thought realm for right now is not as substantial as the physical realm. That's it, that period. The thought realm is not as substantial as the physical realm. And even the physical realm itself is not fundamental reality. So it's turtles all the way, and we're going to jump on the back of another turtle here right away. But when that happens, relatively speaking, that will be more fundamental than the physical world, because you will believe that you're part of the software and the hardware, and you will be the artificial intelligence that but this is all samsara. So you still have control over your thoughts. You don't have any control over, you wake up and the world is the way it is and the laws of physics are the way they are, and you've got no control over that. But you still have control, even if it's slim and really difficult, over your thought processes. And once you come to realize this, once you learn to stop your thoughts and just be, that is the end of this samsara. This is the end of the cycle. And this is a good place. This is not the nothing. This is the reality that you are, that exists in deep sleep, in dreamless sleep, in death, and in extinction. So there's nothing to fear, and it's the only purpose for all of this. So if you want to know in your very beingness, because it's you and you cannot not exist, why there is something rather than nothing, the actual, you are the answer. Then you have to realize that there's something beyond things and thoughts. And that's what you really are. And this will probably get maybe 100 views if we're lucky. And there will be no philosopher agreeing with this and saying, yeah, this is it. This is the most profound thing ever. It was this guy that found it instead of me, but way to be, we found it. It's great, awesome. There's no more searching. It's not gonna fucking happen. And it's not some sort of perfect realm where you get anything you want when you snap your fingers. Or like, it's not an experience, it's just pure experience-er. Just, do you fear going to sleep? Do you fear going to sleep? Is there anything but peace and contentment in dreamless sleep? You forget that state because you take the waking state to be the true reality. But actually, dreamless sleep is closer to your true nature than anything else, than any thought experience or any physical experience. So there it is, again, the most fundamental model of reality that basically no one's paying attention to. And the source of all suffering and the conclusion of all suffering that no one really wants, because it's, why would I want peace and contentment when I could be interested by looking at that fucking thing? Pointing at the computer. Yeah, we're at the very end, and it's pretty much hopeless for most of humanity. But again, the potential, as much as delusion that's going on right now, there's that much potential for realization as well. You are approaching your extinction, where you will meet your divine self. It will just be you and me and everyone else, but it's just one, in pure awareness, pure self-sustaining, self-fulfilling, absolute awareness. So the only goal from now on should be in your life to realize this. to get comfortable with just you, no thoughts, because if you just keep going on the way that the rest of humanity is going on, you'll pop up in the next world with all the same questions, all the same karma, just starting from scratch on a big, like, it's so important. This last physical stint was 13.7 billion years. You are preparing for the next 13.7 billion relative years of your next experience, of this next iteration. So, fuck entertainment. You've experienced all there is to experience. You have experienced all that there is to experience in this realm. And now it's just backing up and redundant. So I implore you to engage in meditation, spiritual practice, so you can know and you can be that which is not nothing, but that which is the reality.